With Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the Guardians trilogy got a very good and very emotional end, and today we're gonna talk about this. But first, you're listening to Nerd Universum. My name is Finn, I'm your host, and today we are gonna talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So, my podcast, I will that I first shortly summarize the film, I try to do it without spoilers, then I give a review to the film, and then I summarize the whole film for the ones who can't watch or don't want to watch the films. So, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is mainly about two parts. First, about that the Guardians are being hunted by Adam Warlock, which we knew as like a meta-human thing from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and then that they have to fight against the High Evolutionary, which is the second villain of the film, who wants to create the perfect species and the perfect world, and he kills and destroys everything for that. I personally love the film. The emotions were really balanced between comedy and the more emotional parts, and I loved how the characters interacted, how they got in some new characters, and how they deepened our view from many other characters. And I personally think the film, it isn't 100% perfect, but it deserves 9.5 stars of 10, maybe even a 10 of 10, but I'm not sure. The film, now I'm gonna summarize the whole film, so for the ones who want to watch it, please, I would advise you to turn off the podcast now, but for the ones who don't want to watch it or just want to be up to date, I would love if you listen to me or continue listening to me. The Guardians got established their headquarters in rebuilt nowhere and are attacked by Adam Warlock in one late night. He's a Savagin, which was created by the High Priestess Aisha in revenge for the Guardians stealing from their people. And when Adam attacks them, he overpowers most of the people and seriously injures Rocket, but he's eventually injured by Nebula and barely able to flee. Nebula is badass in this movie, really badass. And one who he really injured was Rocket, and the Guardians are unable to cure his wounds because there's a kill switch in him embedded, and he's made by a company named Orgo Corp, and they travel to the Orgosphere, which is the Orgo Corp headquarters, in hopes of finding the override code to deactivate the kill switch. While Rocket is unconscious, he recalls his past as the High Evolutionary modifies him as a baby raccoon, experimented on him, and him meeting his follows test subjects, an otter named Lila, Rarus named Teeth, and a rabbit named Floor, which are all modified that can speak and walk. And the High Evolutionary is astounded by Rocket's ability to, deduce the flaw of his anthropomorphization process. Though he was furious that Rocket could solve the problem, he couldn't, and the High Evolutionary perfected the process with Rocket's advice, but then informed him that he and his friends are not going to be part of his new counter-Earth, and Rocket flees from the counter-Earth, or wants to flee from his counter-Earth, but he's stopped by the High Evolutionary, who kills Lila. And because Rocket is furious because of that, he injures the High Evolutionary and kills 2 of his guards, or shoots 2 of his guards, but Thieves and Floor were killed in the chaos, so Rocket takes the spaceship and flees alone from the counter-Earth. In the present, the Guardians are assisted by the Rangers, and Gamora, which still couldn't remember her past with the Guardians, and especially Peter. But when they arrive on the Gamora helps them infiltrating AuroCorp, which is like a shell company owned by the High Evolutionary. They manage to retrieve Rocket's file just to discover that the override code has been removed from it. And the group speculates that Thiel, one of the High Evolutionary's advisors, had downloaded this to his external memory bank in his head. And they found out that this might be a trap, but against Gamora's wishes, tap in the trap, and they are followed by Aisha and Adam, who got the signal because they caught the signal from Gamora to the Ravengers, because Gamora wanted to be picked up. And when they arrive at the counter-Earth, a family of bat-like humanoids helps them tracing Thiel to the High Evolutionary's ship. Drax, Mantis, and Gamora remain with Rocket on the ship, and Quill, Groot, and Nebula travel to the High Evolutionary's ship. And on the way, they observe that the populace of the counter-Earth isn't that perfect, but Nebula when they arrive at the ship, Nebula is forced to wait outside because she has like a gun hand now. And Quill and Groot brought in. Groot, of course, equipped with a bunch of weapons, but hidden weapons, and then Drax and Mantis follow Quill's group, so Gamora is alone with Rocket, and when Warpick, one of High Evolutionary's minions, attempts to capture Rocket, he's stopped by Gamora and seriously injured by Gamora before he's killed by Adam, and because he's angry that he heard his new pet that Adam stole from a dead Revenger. While Peter debates with the High Evolutionary about his civilization, he points out that some of them, or the population in general, is imperfect, and High Evolutionary begin to initiate his planned destruction of the counter-Earth and its recreation, which will kill all life on the planet, and Adam rushes to save Aisha is unsuccessful with that. So Quill and Groot manage to leave the ship with Thea, but Drax, Mantis, and Nebula go on the ship to save them and nearly die because the High Evolutionary ship is in the orbit, and when Quill's group managed to access the override code, Rocket suddenly flatlines and has a near-death experience when he meets Lila, Teeth, and Floor. But Lila tells him that his kind has not yet come, and Quill managed to save them using the override code. Mantis, Nebula, and Drax, when they go into the ship, meet hundreds of anthropomorphic children, which were created by the High Evolutionary, and then they were captured and placed in a chamber with monstrous obelisks, which were the monsters who they defeated in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they protected Aisha's batteries. But Mantis manages to tame the obelisks, and the three break out of the chamber and reunite with Quill's group, who is on the ship now too, so all of the Guardians are on the ship now too. Or at least the original Guardians. And then Crackling and Cosmo arrive with nowhere, and Cosmo creates a telekinetic tunnel to connecting the High Evolutionary ship to nowhere, so that the captured children can be freed, and Adam attacks the Guardians again, but it's saved from death by the Guardians. Ooh, yeah. And they say him that everybody deserves a second chance, so he goes on nowhere too. And when Rocket leaves the ship, he discovers imprisoned elf animals on board of the ship, including some baby raccoons. But and he sees that he's a raccoon now, which was like a running gag that he neglected at the first half. And he's attacked by a very deranged High Evolutionary, but the rest of the Guardians arrive together and they defeat the High Evolutionary, leaving him to perish on a thorn ship. The Guardians manage to rescue the remaining animals and lead them aboard to nowhere, and Quill nearly dies trying to cross over to nowhere, but is saved by Adam, who had a change of heart too. Yeah. And later even becomes part of the Guardians, but how it's in the comics, but I'm gonna explain that in a minute. In the aftermath of the battle, Quill disbands the Guardians and bestows the captaincy to Rocket, and before leaving to Earth and reunite with his grandfather. And Mantis embarks on a journey of self-discovery with her three obelisks, and Gamora reunites with the Revengers, and Nebula and Drax remain on their way to raise the rescued children. Yeah, then the film ends, and the mid-credits scene, the new Guardians, consisting of Rocket, a fully grown Groot, Cosmo, Cracklin, Adam, Phyla, and Adam's pet Blurb, take on a new mission on Kryla, where they have to defeat a bunch of wild animals. And in the post-credit scene, Quill kind of reconnects with his grandfather, and we see a text at the end that the Star-Lord will return. I don't know if we are going to see Rocket's Guardians again, but I would certainly hope so, because this sounds like a perfect group dynamic, and it is safe that we will see Peter Quill again as Star-Lord. How? I honestly don't know it, but we will see him again somehow. And that's so much to the future of the Guardians, or the future of the whole franchise. which is promising but not so promising. And yeah, that was it with today's podcast. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are both in the podcast descriptions. And you can send me a voice message with critique, things I did good, things you liked about the Guardians movie, or just a message or question or critique for you or your grandma or something like this. And I can answer it in some later podcast when we have enough. And yeah, I would hope to see you again and hope you listen to my episodes again. Yeah, have a nice week. And yeah, ciao, ciao.